Warriors of Dominion, Zeus addresses the front. Clash of Worlds has shifted in ways most players are completely misreading, and those small changes will decide who controls the battlefield this season. The real impact is hidden beneath the numbers. Watch this carefully. The fortification buff system has been reworked. But let me clear something up right away, the actual changes are much smaller than the panic on Discord makes them sound. Only 3 things changed. That's it. The twist is that those 3 adjustments completely shift how this mode is likely to be played. So let's break down exactly what changed first, then we'll talk about what it means for the meta. Let's start with the numbers, because there's been a lot of confusion. The base values didn't change at all. The Foundry's 60% maximum health bonus for defense teams has always been there. The Engineerium's 30% bonus to energy gain for defenders has always been there too. Nothing was added, nothing was removed. So if those numbers looked new to you, they aren't. Here's what actually changed. 3 things. First, the Lighthouse. It used to reduce skill cooldowns by 1% for every support hero on your defense. That bonus is gone. Completely removed? The Lighthouse now provides no unique buff at all, making it effectively a dead fortification, just like the barracks and the bridge. Second, the Foundry. The base 60% health boost stays exactly the same, but the bonus for each tank hero has been increased. It used to grant 8% additional health per tank. Now it grants 10%. Third, the Engineerium. Once again, the base 30% energy gain hasn't changed. What did change is the bonus for control heroes, increasing from 4% to 5% for each one on the defense. And that's the entire patch. 1 bonus removed, and 2 small numerical increases. Now, one quick but important heads up before you start testing everything yourself. Sandra, the community manager, confirmed that combat training is still using the old fortification buffs. So if you jump into practice battles today, you won't see any of these new values. That's completely expected. The live Clash of Worlds mode already has the updated buffs, but combat training simply hasn't caught up yet. The developers are aware of the issue, they're already working on it, and the update should arrive during the first week of the season. So, it sounds pretty minor, right? It absolutely isn't. Let's start with the Engineerium, because this is where I think the biggest battles are going to be fought. Right now, this fortification revolves around Jorgen. If you rewind a bit, it used to be Arachne's territory before the war changes reshaped the map. Then Fluffy arrived, and players gradually settled into running both Jorgen and Polaris here. Here's where the problem begins. Increase that bonus to 5% energy gain per control hero, and suddenly the entire defensive lineup starts cycling their skills faster. Jorgen benefits more than anyone. His cycle of energies already doubles an ally's energy generation, while Torment of Powerlessness drains the enemy front line, and blocks their energy gain for a full 9 seconds. If Jorgen reaches his next activation even faster, that energy denial becomes incredibly difficult to escape. Fluffy isn't directly generating energy himself, but he's another excellent defender in these setups, and the same team-wide energy bonus helps his abilities come online much sooner. 2 major threats, both becoming even more dangerous from the exact same buff. The end result is defenses that feel almost impossible to break. Energy loops keep refreshing before attackers can recover. You throw team after team into the wall, but they never get enough momentum before the defense resets itself. And with the Lighthouse losing its only meaningful bonus, many of the defensive teams that were previously spread across the map are now going to be concentrated inside the Engineerium, and the Foundry instead. One hero I'd watch very carefully is Adam. I think this update makes him a legitimate threat inside the Engineerium. Between his naturally strong energy generation, reactive screen, which lets him evade every form of damage, not just physical attacks, for 5 seconds, and adaptive caliber steadily stacking. Attack and armor penetration throughout the fight, Adam already snowballs if you give him enough time. Now place him inside a fortification that accelerates his entire team's energy generation, and he could become genuinely oppressive. Whether you're building Engineerium defenses or planning attacks against them, keep Adam firmly on your radar. Now let's move over to the Foundry, and honestly, I think this is the real sleeper change. 10% per tank doesn't sound impressive at first glance. But stack enough tanks onto a Foundry defense, and that health bonus quickly climbs into the 200 to 250% range. At that point, it stops feeling like a defensive buff. It becomes an offensive multiplier, because so many heroes in Hero Wars scale their damage, shields, or utility directly from their maximum health. Corvus is probably the clearest example. His Altar of Souls scales both its own health and its pure damage directly from Corvus's maximum health. More Foundry health means an altar that survives longer while punishing enemies even harder. A heavily buffed Corvus inside the Foundry becomes a serious threat. Electra benefits just as much. Embrace of Pain creates a shield based on her maximum health, so a larger health pool means a stronger shield, and when that shield finally explodes, the damage becomes significantly more threatening. Iris follows the same pattern. Exposed Soul creates a soul whose health is tied to a large percentage of Iris's own. Increase her health, and that soul survives longer while reflecting much more damage back onto the enemy team. And the list keeps going. Mushy and Shroom rely on health for their copies and small mushrooms, making both noticeably tougher while increasing battlefield pressure. Byrna's Living Heart converts part of her health into permanent magic attack whenever allies receive healing, so a larger health pool means stronger scaling throughout the fight. Andvari's Nature's Barrier absorbs damage based on his health, creating much sturdier shields. Lilith sacrifices health with possession to amplify her magic attack, giving her an even more explosive damage spike. Polaris deals more damage through Glacial Fortress because its explosion scales from her health. Even Tristan benefits, since serving the light reduces enemy attack based on his maximum health, making his debuff considerably stronger. What's especially interesting is that Polaris benefits from both fortifications. She's a control hero, so she boosts and benefits from the Engineerium's energy bonus. At the same time, Glacial Fortress scales with health, letting her fully capitalize on the Foundry's massive health increase. No matter which of those two fortifications she's defending, this rework makes her even stronger. And that's what these changes are really doing beneath the surface. The Foundry isn't simply making defenses harder to kill. It's quietly strengthening an entire roster of heroes whose abilities scale with health. The walls aren't just surviving longer anymore, they're hitting back much harder too. Which brings us back to the Lighthouse. It once rewarded defenses with 1% skill cooldown reduction for every support hero. Now it rewards nothing. The incentive to build around that fortification is completely gone, leaving it as another empty section of the map while the Engineerium and Foundry continue gaining value. So here's the real takeaway. 3 changes, 1 removal and 2 small numerical buffs, but together they reshape the entire mode. Expect more energy loop defenses inside the Engineerium, more health scaling monsters inside the Foundry, and far fewer meaningful teams parked anywhere else. Adjust your attack order accordingly. Save your strongest teams for the fortifications that actually matter, keep a close eye on heroes like Adam and Corvus, and stop wasting your best attackers on objectives that no longer give defenders a meaningful advantage. That's the real story behind the Clash of Worlds rework. The numbers may look small, but the impact on the meta is anything but. Adapt your defenses, rethink your attack order, and you'll stay one step ahead while everyone else is still playing the old game. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these changes do you think will have the biggest impact this season? Share your thoughts and your own strategies in the comments below. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next strategy breakdown. Stay sharp, build smart, and remember, victory in Dominion belongs to those who adapt before everyone else.